Holla, holla, holla. You know who it is. It's your boy Dave, aka DJ. As I always say, A-Town down. You know what I mean? Sorry I haven't been on in a few days. It's been hectic. I've been working every day. I'm starting to get a little tired, but just like I said before, there's a lot of stuff on my mind, and one thing that I definitely want to go over and talk about is single fathers. I mean, even single mothers. I'm not going to be diverse, I guess I should say, in this because there are single mothers out there that are raising their kids because the father doesn't want nothing to do with being a father, and that's wrong. Then there's the fathers out there raising the kids that have the same thing going on with their baby mom. You know, she had the kid and she was just like, I don't want this kid. Get it out of me. You know, go ahead, give it to the father. I don't care. I'm gone. And then you have the cases where there's fighting between them and everything else. Like my situation personally is me and my kid's mom knew each other for a really long time. Um, we started dating and everything once I got out of juvenile jail, pretty much after doing 2 years. Um, I got back in touch with her while I was in a halfway house, and everything was going great. I got out of the halfway house. I did parole. I had successfully completed parole while I was with her. Then me and her started our own life, and it just kind of, sorry, the shadows in on this is making my goatee look like I cut it wrong, but I swear I cut it right. It's just and all y'all out there, I'm sorry, I jump around from subject to subject, topic to topic all the time. My boy Chris, I will give you a shout out pretty much every time because you inspire me. I love you, brother, and you're a very big motivation in my life. I appreciate you being in my life. Um, but we were doing good. So I proposed to her on her 18th birthday. I was 19 at the time. A year later, she got pregnant. We had our kids. During the pregnancy, she became. She has her. Well, I'll just put it this way. She has her side. I have my side. But during the pregnancy is when it started kind of falling apart for us. And then after the boys were born, because I have twins, David James Andrews and Anthony Robert Andrews. I love my boys to death. I'm 22, fixing to be 23. They'll be 3 this year. I had them when I was 20 years old, and I love them with everything in my heart. But after they were born, we were together for the first like 8 months of their life, and then after that, we separated for good. And we were gonna try and work on things, but she moved back in with her parents. I moved out of Colorado Springs and into a small town called Fowler. It's about 34 miles away from Pueblo, about an hour drive from Colorado Springs. Well, I got a job pretty much within the first month of being in Fowler. Um, I started saving up. I started paying off some of me and her's back bills that we had. I started paying, just different stuff. I started giving her money so that she'd bring my kids down, and it was set up so that she got to have them for 2 weeks. I got to have them for 2 weeks, but because of the fact I didn't have a vehicle, I got her to bring them down to me. I would pay for her gas to bring them to me, go back up. I'd make sure she had gas for work still, even though we weren't together. Because I still loved her. I still do love her. I'll always love her. She's my baby mom. She's the one that birthed, gave my kids birth, and I love her for that. As far as her other decisions and everything else, I can't say I love her for that anymore. But I do love her as my kid's mom. I hope she's doing a good job raising them, especially since now here's the part that gets hard for me. After we separated and she was doing that for me, I was paying for diapers for them. I was giving her anything she needed for our kids. December 12th. Sorry, y'all. I can't stop yawning. But December 12th of 2010, she came and got the boys. We got into an argument, so she left early, and it was about 2:30 when she left. Well, the plan was she was going to go back up to Colorado Springs, do Christmas with or do Christmas with her family on the 24th of December, drive down either that night or Christmas morning, and we were going to do Christmas with our kids together. And then she was either going to stay and hang out with me or whatever, but then on the 26th, I was supposed to take them to my mom's house and do our family Christmas. Well, needless to say, that didn't happen. I didn't hear from her. I didn't see her. I didn't. She wouldn't answer my calls. She wouldn't answer my mom's calls. She wouldn't answer my texts. She wouldn't answer anything until about, I think, April, maybe May of 2011. She finally got a hold of me and told me that I needed to give her child support and that I needed to start taking care of my sons and that I'm just a worthless father and all this other stuff. Well, I kind of flipped out about that because of the fact that I was taking care of them, I was helping her out, I was taking care of myself, and all this time I got my own house in like October, so I was only in Fowler for like 3 months, and I got my own house, 2 bedroom. My kids had a room, I had a room. If I told her, if you don't want to sleep with me in my room, I will give you my room. You can sleep in there by yourself. I'll sleep on the couch. It doesn't matter. But so, like I was saying, April or May, she gets a hold of me demanding money from me and stuff, telling me that I owe her all this money for back child support and that I'm just worthless and da da da. So that hit me hard, and I flipped out. Like, I really, I said a lot of things I probably shouldn't have said to her just because I was mad. But it's the past. I'm not trying to dwell on it. But then, when I told her I wasn't going to give her money, I asked her, I said, what do the boys need? Her response to me was, the boys don't need anything. I've taken care of them, but you need to give me money so I can pay my bills. Now, what's wrong with that, y'all? If we're not together, you haven't let me see my kids in over 5 months, and now you're calling demanding money from me? Not for my kids, not for diapers, not for none of that, but for the simple fact that you want me to pay your bills. I paid all of our bills when we were together. I am not paying her bills while we're not together. So then she stopped talking to me again for about 3 months till my birthday rolled around. I got a hold of her. Finally, she answered. I asked her, please, can I see my kids for my birthday and their birthday? Their birthday's the week after mine. I'd really appreciate to see them. She didn't want to let me see them. She told me that she was too busy with her family and her man, which I'm assuming, I don't know for sure, but I am assuming that she got with her man sometime around December or even November, October, because she was starting to treat me differently. But I feel that he has an effect on me not seeing my kids all of last year, all of 2011. I got to see my kids one time, for 2 hours, and that was on the 10th of September. Me and my cousin Neil, and Neil, You know who you are. I love you too, famo. You're like a brother to me. You always will be. You're always in my heart and prayers. I hope you and Auntie and Grandma are all doing good. I'm gonna try and come up and see you guys as soon as I can. I'm sorry I had to move, but it's for the best of my life right now that I'm back in Oklahoma. So, anyways, going on with that, she's like, you can't see him this weekend. I'm like, okay, well, I can't make it back for their birthday because I don't have the money to. I have to work and everything else. I was like, but I can come up the weekend after. She's like, okay, well, we had planned it so I could spend half the day with him. Then plans changed, and her man comes out with her and everything else. And honestly, as bad as it sounds, I wanted to knock his head off just because I looked at him and he tried puffing his chest out and acting all hard like he was gonna do something. But I wasn't there for that. I wanted to see my kids. He can act hard or whatever because you know what? One of these days, my kids ain't gonna be around, and I'm gonna see him, and he's gonna puff his chest out to me, and I'm gonna lay him out because I don't play that bullshit. Um, I know it's not good for me to fight as a Christian or whatever, but at the same time, no man, no one, no one is gonna puff their chest out at me, try and make me look little, try and make me look like a bad dad, nothing, and expect no repercussions back. Um, that's one of my flaws. I have an anger issue, and if you're gonna try and get hard with me, I'm gonna get hard right back, and I'm gonna show you that I'm the worst enemy you can ever, ever, ever have. So then, after I got to see them that weekend for 2 hours, went from half a day to 2 hours, she stopped contacting me again. Well, after that, I've been going through a lot of my own stuff and everything, but me and my dad were up in Colorado getting the rest of my stuff and get me prepared to move back down here to Oklahoma, and called her and she finally answered and told us, yeah, we could see the boys and everything else. And then she texts me later on that day and says, oh, well, they called me in to work. You can't see them now. And then I have other stuff to do with my nieces, which, you know what? I still love all of her nieces and her nephew because they never did anything wrong. I wish them the best in life because they're great kids. And I hope that they understand that it wasn't all me, but I'm sure that Emily, you have put so many bad thoughts about me into everybody's head that I'm sure your whole family hates me. And you know what? My whole family is starting to resent you just because of how you are. Not because of our relationship, not because of anything, but because of how manipulative, lying, conceding, all that stuff, how you are as a person is what makes people not like you. That's why we didn't work out because you were lazy and everything else. But that's a whole nother topic. Um, and so it went from being happy to be able to see my kids again for the first time this year to not being able to see them again. So that kind of bummed me out, and it's a rocky year again. But I'm putting up full custody, trying to fight for them. I've started the process. I'm trying to get in touch with the lawyers and everything to get the ball rolling as fast as possible. I want this custody battle to get over with as quick as possible because I went through it my whole life as a child and it drained me. Like I hated it. And I just don't want my kids to go through that. I didn't want them to. I wanted to have 50-50. I wanted to have 50-50 custody with her and, split it up equally, no child support from either one of us. Both of us, if you need something, I'll help you. If I need something, you help me. But obviously that's not how it is, especially not since she has this new man. And maybe that's why I don't like him so much, and maybe that's why I want to beat the living crap out of him is because I feel it's his fault that she's treating me like this and not letting me see my kids and stuff, because before he was in the picture I got to see my kids and have them every 2 weeks, and I had them for 2 weeks at a time. It was 50-50. So I don't know. All I can say to all y'all single parents out there is it's hard. It's never gonna be easy. Life isn't easy.